quiet seaside town, an evil laid to rest centuries ago, has risen. An abandoned fortress deep in the swamp holds a secret that could save the village or destroy it. Now, a band of adventurers sets out to dig up the wounds of the past and bring the light of day to the roots of ruin. This is Tabletop Gold.
Hello, friends, and welcome to Tabletop Gold, episode 86 of The Roots of Ruin. My name is Lars Casteen. Welcome to the show. Glad to have you here along for the ride with us. I'm the game magistrate. I keep the trains running on time, just like Mussolini did. It's me.
Okay.
The
game Mussolini. Yeah. Well, they're coming back, right? We've got more Mussolinis running around. It's a crazy time. And I'm joined today by Robin Leng.
Good that time.
Good that time.
You weirdo.
Sorry. It's Armet Humphreys is here as well.
Good that time and good hat time.
Good hat time. Yeah, a lot of hats on the same number of hats on the call. David Chernicoff is here as well, the Tin Man.
Yeah, good that time. Used to find fascism jokes funnier. Not gonna lie.
Yeah.
They come and go. It's like all trends.
Like probably shouldn't have then is the point, but definitely used to
Less
more.
now.
Okay, I'm going to issue a formal apology. I shouldn't have said those things that I said about comparing myself to Mussolini. That ultimately,
It's a shame that the episode is going to be entitled More Mussolinis Running Around. There's just nothing to be done.
Zoe Chernicoff is here. Hi.
Hello. Hi.
Hi. Welcome to the
Ciao.
show.
So, Lars, how's it going having a new baby in the house where you can't sleep?
It's fine. I'm going to say
Not affecting you at all, right?
Yeah. No, I'm not going crazy.
It's like living with a little dictator.
That's right.
A little
Mussolini,
fascist.
some would say, looked like a baby in a lot of ways. Had a sort of babyish countenance to him.
Honestly, not an uncommon sort of authoritarian.
Like an overall sort of toddler aesthetic. Their heads are also big. Their hair is also wispy.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
But they got those sweet, sweet thighs.
That's what they're known for. Hey, what else can we talk about right now?
Nope, this is it. Sorry.
This is it? This is what we're talking about? Great.
Shame. But here we are.
No segues allowed.
Okay.
Well, I mean,
yeah.
I don't know. It's new. It's the new year just happened, but that's not that time on the show, right? So we can't talk about that.
So here, mine was going to be New Year's related, which is
Okay.
this will air 4 or 5 weeks from now.
Yeah.
Like-
Yeah. Early Feb.
Does anyone have a resolution or, inspiration, whatever, if you do anything like that you're pretty sure you will have already failed at by the time the show airs? It's just about that window where the hope dies. It's February. Wintry mix has taken over.
Okay, I actually have something to talk about then. I don't know if you guys are aware of this. I don't know if listeners are aware of this. There's this thing, #Dungeon23 happening right now, where every day you are encouraged to write a new location or room for a dungeon so that by the end of and every week, and I'm not following this when I'm doing it, but every week it's like you're doing a level of a dungeon. So at the end of the year, you have a 52 level super dungeon that you've designed.
That's really cool.
Cool.
Okay.
So I actually am doing that, and I'm putting the rooms that I'm developing on the Tabletop Gold Twitter account right now. So there's a thread on there that starting with right now it's January 3rd. So we've done 3 of them, and I'm building out a potential adventuring locale and a mega dungeon for and I'm that I probably will not keep up with as the likes dry up on Twitter and the extrinsic reinforcement goes away.
Right. So will you make it to floor 5 of this dungeon?
I don't know. We'll see, I guess. Tune in to find out, or to take a look at our Twitter account to find out.
I liked the archaeological dig pit you had going.
I think it could be cool. I feel I have an idea of where this whole thing is going, and I feel pretty optimistic about how if I can keep it up for a year. I don't know, but I like the ideas that I have for what I'm doing personally.
Will there be one floor that's just like happy stuff, like rainbows and clouds? Like you get there, you just kind of like get to kick back.
Yeah, it's going to be a floor of happy stuff, but then by the time you reach the end of it, you realize that you have been manipulated into a sense of accepting bad things as though they were good things, and then you feel bad about yourself.
Oh, so it's my life. Cool.
It's all of our lives, guys.
Yeah, all money is blood money.
One big metaphor.
There it is.
I know. So every year I make the same resolution, which is to journal and write more. And every year, sometime around February, March, I notice, I haven't actually written in my journal in like 3 weeks. Whoops. So I foresee that happening again.
But that's good. Every year you know what happened in January.
I know it happened the first week of January.
Right.
Time to update the January files.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's always the beginning of almost every journal entry I have is, wow, I haven't written for a while.
Dear diary.
I've missed you.
Matt, are you a resolutions guy?
I'm not really, to be honest. I made no resolutions other than, just doing more stuff for this podcast and try and get in better shape and finish my novel. So those are the three
just
things.
Little stuff.
Yeah, just
some
little
small
things. Just
stuff.
throw in that last one. Finish a novel.
Yeah, no, that's the one I'd like to gloss over because I can certainly tell you it will not be done by February, if ever.
Well, you got an audience ready for it in our Discord.
Well, I am immensely grateful to them and their confidence that I do not have at this moment.
That is if I think one person, it's if Richard, I think it is, doesn't steal your idea from you first and get it published.
Yeah. Honestly, if Richard can get it done, more power to him. I'm like aiming for a sort of like, oh shoot, God, what's that? Endless. The Robert B. Jordan series, The Wheel of Time. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm desperate for a Brandon Sanderson to just like knife me discreetly in a surreptitious alley and then like take over and do a good job with my novel.
Are we alleging that that's what happened to that guy? That Brandon Sanderson shivved him?
Satire, parody.
Satire.
Fair use.
No, I really like Brandon Sanderson's books. I think he's a lot of fun as a writer. So, no actual shade intended there. Just
right. He's just a murderer. I understand.
Right. Just a minor murderer. And who among us really?
Thank you.
Can't.
Zoe, David, how about you guys?
I would say I'm not one for like.
I resolve to interrupt less.
But it's February by the time this airs, so it didn't happen until then.
Yep.
Aren't you happy you get to live with that all the time, Zoe?
I am. Well, no, mostly our children interrupt us, so we barely feel each other doing it.
That's right. There's no opportunities to interrupt each other in our house because you never get enough momentum.
I'm not really like a tangible resolutions person. I feel like my resolution this year is to try and like do fewer things, but do them more deeply. So I don't know at what point you gauge having. I guess if I'm doing a lot of things and doing them poorly in February, you guys can be like, it's not happening. Cut them back.
This is going to be great because we're going to check in when we record in February, which is going to be an episode that then airs in March. And we're going to...
Right. We'll perpetually leap into the future.
Oh, no, but I like that because that's going to make all of our listeners think about all the resolutions that they've failed.
That's right.
Perfect.
In
exactly
March,
the feeling we want to inspire.
In March, everyone's just going to be sad.
Yeah, because everyone loves that feeling of disappointment in
They
oneself.
can celebrate by posting a review about how we made them remember. And list out with specifics what you failed at, so the whole world knows.
Zoe, it's so funny that you bring that up because I would actually like to take this moment to thank everybody who has left a review of Tabletop Gold on their podcast app of choice. This is going to be a real fast one. This came in on Apple Podcasts Australia from a guy named Davo de Australia. And the review is great. No punctuation, just
love it.
Great.
I love it.
5 stars. Great.
You asked and you received.
I
Lars.
asked, I received, and I am beyond tickled. I'm like a shrimp upon the Barbie right now.
Oh,
I like
Is that
this so much.
ticklish?
you know those are screams of pain, right?
Oh no, that's
Oh,
that's
no.
probably correct.
Oh no. I didn't think the shrimp were supposed to be alive.
Thank you so much, Davo to Australia. I really appreciate it. Every review, including those that get straight to the point and don't waste anybody's time. They are all great and deeply appreciated and help us out so much. So thank you.
Thank you.
And with that, why don't we move on to our game? This is a time when I typically would start playing music and I'd say something like, "You're a creep and you're stuck in a dungeon and you're going to die."
Wait, what?
But today I've got news for everybody before we jump into that. And that is that you guys hit level 6.
Woo!
It's level 6 time.
Please.
So we're going to continue our adventure in a moment, but we're going to start off the game portion of today's podcast by talking through level 6 choices. David,
Yes.
with that preamble taken care of, we got 2 things to talk about. We got a class feat, we got a barbarian feat or a mauler archetype feat, and we got a skill feat. So what do you want to start with?
That's such a good point. I forgot to look at the Mauler archetypes. It does not change it's not
No.
going to change my choice.
Anybody who knows this game knows that there is a clear level 6 barbarian skill feat that or class feat that you kind of have to take.
Which is attack of opportunity.
Woo!
Oh,
Yes.
which is terrifying for me. Like the
Yes.
amount, Mag is already messed up. Like Mag does too much damage.
Yeah.
So the idea, so let's talk about attack of opportunity for
Sure.
people who don't know the game. What does that do?
Attack of opportunity is a reaction that allows me to now make melee strikes against creatures that are
Doing stuff.
Yes, that are within my reach, like within reach of a melee strike, and move or make an attack. I guess not every attack, but make a ranged attack
Yeah.
themselves, or move away from me, or do a manipulate action, which is any of a number of things, including very notably spellcasting. So if I can get next to something
Mhm.
in the first place, it then opens up the potential for me to get extra whacks at that enemy during their turn by using my reaction. I used to have a reaction at lower levels called No Escape, which is a barbarian feat that would let me kind of go after someone who tried to move away from me, which lets you stay close and make more melee strikes over the course of a multi-round encounter. And I used it a few times and it was really cool, but I had to give it up in order to retrain into the Mauler stuff. So I have not had a useful reaction for a while. And now, okay, if I'm next to something and I'm trying to bash it and it tries to run away from me, I can no longer pursue it, but I can get in a swing before it gets out of my orbit. So that's pretty exciting. And the way this character is built, the more swings, the better. Just
Yeah.
trying to connect.
And attack of opportunity is at 0 map. Like there's no multiple attack penalties. So it's real nasty.
Interesting. So if I'm next to a caster and it casts 3 spells on its turn, I just get to keep wailing away
Well,
once
you only have one reaction.
Oh, right. So then it gets spent. Got it. Yeah.
So the strategy to deal with this is to soak up, reactions on. It's sort of like the way that I try to deal with Vadim's attack of
His glimpse.
His glimpse is I'm trying to figure out what can I get Armat to waste it on before I roll a critical hit with something else. And that
Rude.
I typically don't find an answer to that question, and it winds up working out really poorly for me.
Sure. Well, anyway, so that's attack of opportunity, or in the game lingo, AOO, which is a very, very useful acronym unless one of your characters in your party is named AO, at which point it's just incredibly confusing.
That's so frustrating.
Oh.
All right, so that's my level 6 barbarian class feat. And then I also get a skill feat, and I've taken intimidating prowess, which will give me a +1 to intimidation checks.
Nice.
It says, in situations where you can physically menace the target.
That's generally how Mag tries to intimidate, though, isn't it?
That's
Yeah.
right. And also can ignore the penalty for not sharing a language.
Oh, so
Because I
it's
guess-
like intimidating glare as well as intimidating.
That's
getting the +1. Oh, that's really cool. What a great feat.
Yeah. And then at some point, it goes up to a +2 if your strength is 20 or above. And I'm just on the cusp of that. So I think at a subsequent level up where I get to boost my like core stats again, I will probably choose strength, and then this will become a +2. Which is cool.
That'll happen at level 10. That'll be right towards the finale of our program.
Yeah. All right.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Take it back.
It's true. Like this adventure goes to level 10 or 11. That's going to be a late game mag situation.
It's okay. It's not. That won't happen until we're in like what 2025.
We're going to cover levels 6 through 9 today. I forgot to mention that. For
all
clearing
right,
out half of
wow.
level 5. This is going to be a long episode, guys. Bear with us.
I got a lot of stuff to pick.
Yeah, a lot of.
Okay.
Sorry, I really should have included that in the email. But
Let's crash Nethys.
yeah.
So that's Mag.
Great. Awesome. I love it. Who wants to go next as Mag becomes scarier and more violent in this level?
Well, thinking of scarier, I can talk about Trill.
Yeah, let's talk about Trill.
So for skill feat, I felt like the level 6 level up is not super exciting
Nope.
compared to
you.
other levels up.
I think it changes class by class. I think for spellcasters, feats are sort of the least attractive part of the package. So
Yeah.
odd numbered levels tend to be more exciting for spellcasters because you get new spell slot levels.
Pretty fun. Yeah. So for Trill, so her skill feat, I went for virtuosic performer. So basically it means that when I am doing a performance with the lute, there is a +1 circumstance bonus. But actually, I'm not quite a master yet. So if Trill ever finally gets to master in performance, then the bonus will be +2.
Ooh.
And that includes when you use your versatile performance. So that it will include when you try to, if you're using your lute to try to impersonate, that'll include then.
amazing.
It'll include when you try to demoralize. It'll include when you try to do performance to make an impression. It'll include when you're casting lingering performance to try to see how much stuff you get. Like the
That's
bonus
pretty
is
good, actually.
it's really
I'm glad I took that.
you made a great choice. And you'll hit master in performance at level 7, so that's right around the corner.
Yeah, and Trill's already pretty high up an expert on performance. So then for her class feat, I went for Dirge of Doom. So that's another composition cantrip. And this one, basically, she plays some music and foes get frightened 1.
Yeah.
Right? Is that pretty much what happens?
Yeah. Yeah. So this is a composition cantrip, which is the same kind of spell as Inspire Courage. So you've got a potential extra choice to make in combat where you're like, is this going to be an Inspire Courage time, or is this going to be a Dirge of Doom time?
Inspire fear.
So you could you could like link it with lingering composition too, and then make that frightened last for 3 or 4 rounds with a good performance. That's cool.
Oh, that's awesome.
Lars looks unhappy about that.
Yeah, no, it's not great. I don't love it. The thing about it that's slightly balancing is that it's a 30-foot emanation, so that has half of the range of Inspire Courage. Inspire Courage can hit anything within 60 feet. So Trill would need to get a little bit more in harm's way to make this work. And of course, there are certain things that are immune to fear effects or are mindless. So they wouldn't be affected by, like those fungus that you found on the 3rd floor that didn't have minds that came up in that combat. Like if you play a scary song for a couple of fungus, they're not going to get scared by it. So it does have a little bit of a limitation in its application. And you also get an extra spell slot and an extra spell. Do you want to talk about that, or do you want to keep that secret?
Let's see. Well, what did I take? Oh, no, I'm actually excited about this one. So I retrained a 2nd level spell slot and then got a new 3rd level spell slot. So I got rid of, what did I get rid of? It was the Reaper's Lantern, because it sounded really cool when I took it, and then I realized it was absolutely useless.
And for people that don't know the system that well, when you level up, you get to take a new spell when you gain a new slot, and anytime you get a new spell, you get to swap an old one out. So you're kind of doing 2 spells in this level because you're replacing an old one and getting a new one.
Yeah. I love that because I think for Trill, it's good to, I try things out and then I figure out what works and what doesn't. And the ones that don't work, I say goodbye to the next level. So that got replaced with a spell that I've always been kind of tickled by. And this one I think is actually kind of tickling because it's Hideous Laughter. So we'll see how that one works out.
I'm so excited about.
Trilla's getting real goth this round, right?
Yeah.
Like she's playing frightening music. She's got hideous laughter.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Trill's gone pretty goth already since she had that awful dream. So
yeah,
it makes sense for her to keep doing this.
And I'm just so excited as a GM for Hideous Laughter because it's such a usable and flavorful spell. Like, I'm so excited for the moment when I present to you some terrifying monster and Trill successfully makes it fall over and start laughing uncontrollably.
I think that's great. That's going to be fantastic.
I'm just so pumped. Like that. It's like those sorts of moments that I can't see coming are such a big part of what I enjoy about a game like this. So knowing that that's in the mix right now, I could not be more thrilled.
Well, you're welcome. And then for our third level new spell slot, it was between slow and paralyze, and I decided to go with paralyze.
Which is a real nasty spell.
One more thing to annoy Lars with.
Yeah.
Ghostly Weapon is still sitting in there because I'm sure we're going to come across ghosts eventually. So
yes,
that hasn't been used yet, but I know we're going to have to use it at some point.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm not getting rid of that one.
Yeah, that makes sense. Paralyze is one of those spells that is like, it like reveals the two-sided nature of how a game like this works, where it's like, Paralyze is a great spell for a player to have because it's like, you lock up a monster and they don't get to attack and you get to keep having fun playing your game, laughing at this monster. But it's like basically socially unacceptable for me as a GM to cast this on players because I'm just saying, like, you don't get to play the game for the next.
Said the guy who in the last
hour.
fight we had tried to turn us all into statues. So I'm just saying.
I mean, there was also, I think, didn't Vadim get, or no, it was Mag. Mag has gotten paralyzed a few times. Usually from
absolutely.
bites. And David really loves that.
Yeah, people had a great time with that, with the ghouls that paralyze on one failed save.
Yeah, Mag doesn't like it, and neither does David. That's one.
There's no reason to like it. There's
one of
actually
the things
no
we have
reason
in
to like
common.
it.
But will you like it more when Trill casts it on a monster it's trying to kill us?
Listen, I may talk tough, guys. I just want everybody to have a fun time playing this game, so I'm totally happy about it. I think it's gonna be fun. I think it's never gonna work, and you're gonna be frustrated, but I think it's gonna be great.
Well, that's level 6 Trill.
Cool. Great. Exciting stuff happening. Who wants to go next? Armat or Zoe?
I can go because I feel like one of my choices was off of one of Trill's, so
okay.
They nest together nicely. So I also get a skill increase because
you got a whole skill increase.
So what are you increasing?
I'm gonna do medicine. Vadim is always out there, but I feel like Ao is getting better at stuff, and her being able to heal herself and heal others makes sense. And also, I get so many of these things, I'm basically as high up as I can be on most of the other ones anyways.
Yeah.
And then for my skill feat, that allows me to take chromotherapy, which is this cool little skill feat that lets you deal with persistent damage in fights, and it allows Ao to harness light, which I think is really cool as like a flavor thing to try and aid others dealing with, I don't know, blood coming out of their eyes, or it's hard to imagine, but just, whatever persistent damage might come up.
This is so good.
And she gets to make it different colors depending on the kind of damage that they're dealing with.
Oh, so it's like light therapy.
So
That's
cool.
that's quaint.
Just a little like an infrared blanket.
You got some crystals too there?
Yes.
There is
Right.
a skill feat that actually lets you do healing with crystals, and I think it's so cool, actually.
As we're talking, this makes me feel like Ao and Trill are like, Ao went from like goth teen and now is going into like hippie kumbaya crystals, and Trill's going from like hippie kumbaya music into like dark goth. So there's some sort of crossing trajectory there.
Trading Birkenstocks between the two of you.
That's right. Well, Ao hates shoes, so save him for Norman.
Too bad.
For my class feat, because Trill is doing this new fun, scary music situation, Ao is going to take Dread Striker, which makes anyone who is frightened flat-footed to me, which will be awesome.
Nice.
Also sort of combines nicely with Mag's new skill feat, too, intimidating prowess.
There's a lot of stuff that's overlapping here and very satisfying. Well, you can frighten stuff more easily, which helps the rogue. I heard a bunch of stuff in there with Trill that makes sounds like it would be a lot easier to hit stuff with a hammer.
That was my idea. How do I debilitate things so Mag can go boom?
Yeah, and we didn't actually like coordinate all of this stuff. We're just getting to know each other's. It's like how the party is better at like behaving in combat, like acting in combat in concert. We're sort of doing by instinct also as players. It's kind of awesome.
It's almost like we're a team.
All right, let's not go.
Okay.
Let's not go too far. Consider myself a free agent, please. Thank you.
Apologies.
It's sort of a cliche when people are talking about this system online. That's like Pathfinder 2e is the game that rewards like cooperation and teamwork, and it really like stuff like this. I think kind of reveals why this game has this reputation. So we got more stuff to talk about with AO though. Jeepers Creepers.
Oh, right. Yes.
You get a new spell. You got a level 2 spell slot now because you took basic sorcerer spell casting.
Look at me. Someday I'll be something approximating a real sorcerer. Maybe not in this game. Who knows? But I found, actually, thanks to a friend of ours who pointed this one out, due to friend in life and friend of the podcast, Kevin, I'm going to take a delightful spell called Teeth to Terror.
Oh.
Which sadly does not give AO the bite attack she has always longed for, but does cause the target to believe its teeth are falling out, crawling along its face, stabbing into its body, or maybe even cramming themselves down the person's throat, and causes them to take some amount of both mental damage and persistent mental damage, because of course it's not a real bite attack, but it seemed too good to not have her take.
Oh, it's nightmare fuel.
It's another thing that can frighten people, which is, we'll see how that works out.
It's weird to think that the feeling of your own teeth crawling down your throat would make you feel scared. I don't know.
It is weird. It's weird. This game is not realistic.
Metal as hell.
Both Teeth to Terror and Chromotherapy are uncommon options from relatively recent publications. These are not things that existed when we started our game. Chromotherapy is from Dark Archive, which is the pretty recent book about spooky occult magic stuff. And Teeth to Terror is from the Bloodlords undead stuff adventure path. So we're pulling in all kinds of things, and they fit AO so well that who would I be to deny these great options?
That's why I go big on these asks. Earlier today, I was briefly pitching Lars on making me a genie. You just go so crazy and far that then these other small uncommon asks seem, downright normal, downright common.
At L6, I'd like to increase my society and turn into a genie.
That's right.
Great. Have we talked? No, Armat, we got to talk to you. Armat, you're loving the champion class. You think this is a super fun character and everybody's happy, right?
Oh, yeah, totally. No, I think I just built it to use this word to describe it, linear. And I think that's exactly what the problem is in some ways, is the decision tree is a little, I do double slice, I move. But I'm adding in a new potential option at level 6, which is the champion feat, Smite Evil. Because I kind of think we might come across some evil.
Huh.
Checks out.
Yeah. So that basically allows me to use an action to infuse my blade ally weapon with more good damage, which again will only affect creatures with a weakness to good damage or evil creatures, which, I think we might come across a couple of them.
Good chance.
Yeah, so I can do that, and I think it lasts until the end of my turn. So basically, Vigilance gets a little bit beefier damage-wise. So if I'm really going toe-to-toe, I can use all 3 actions to just put out a bunch of damage. And then for my skill feat, I took Continual Recovery, which will let me use Battle Medicine and other stuff like that a little bit more frequently. I believe it changes the cooldown from 24 hours to just an hour. So it becomes like a once per fight kind of thing.
Yes, that's one of those skill feats that's like if you're doing non-magical healing for your party, you kind of gotta take it.
Yeah.
So you took it.
I done took it.
You did it. And that's it for Vadim, right?
That's it. Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that is that everybody? Have we talked to everybody?
Close enough.
Okay.
What did you take, Lars?
I took friendship.
Aww.
Oh.
In this conversation, I feel as though I have been just very like positive and upbeat. I'm just so like, here's the thing. I'm so happy when you guys get new stuff to play with in this game. Like I love the way that this game gives you more stuff and makes you feel more powerful as you go. And I'm so excited hearing about all these new things that you've got and imagining how they're going to happen in the game and all that kind of stuff. So if I sound overly positive today, it's because I feel blessed by these new game mechanics that are going to be fun.
Even though they're things that we've taken to try and fuck with you.
Yeah, but
Especially for
that's your job. That's what you're supposed to do.
Guys, I really don't think Lars is sleeping.
That's right. That's right.
I think he's losing his mind.
I just need to feel something, guys, and you beating up on me is what it takes.
Dark.
Hey, let's play. I don't feel that way. Let's play this game. After a late night exploring the dungeons below Gauntlet, you're back in Otari for another brisk spring day. You are off to a late start this morning already due to a lack of sleep, but the discovery that a flawless red ruby has gone missing from your gear threatens to throw your plans into upheaval. This ruby, which you found sewn into a childhood toy belonging to the sick Doriana Menhemez, holds some connection to the nightmare realm known as Leng, and may hold answers for why the mayor's teenage daughter has suddenly fallen ill.
Yeah, it's pretty menacing.
I'm freaked.
Yes.
So where we're picking up, it's the morning of Desnus the 25th. It's right around 10 a.m. as you needed 8 hours to lose the fatigued condition, speaking in gameplay terms. But you needed 8 hours to get good rest to make up for the fact that you were out adventuring until 2 o'clock in the morning.
Am I still doomed? When do I get to stop being doomed?
You awaken on this beautiful spring day. It's an average of 57.5 degrees throughout the day. It's
Dew
gray. Average dew point of 51.3.
Okay.
Nice.
It's a gray day. There's a light rain. And when Ao awakens in the tent that holds the shop, Rin's Wonders, she realizes that she is not doomed anymore.
Wonderful.
The rain may be falling, but it's not falling metaphorically on you. Do you guys know the song by the band Travis, Why Does It Always Rain on Me?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, I do know that
vaguely.
song.
Yeah.
For sure.
I thought about that in a long time.
Bust that song out anytime you want somebody to get mad at you for feeling sad. It's so perfect for drawing attention to being a big baby. If you just start singing Why Does It Always Rain on Me at people, they hate it. That's a pro tip.
I just always think of the line from The Crow, "It can't rain all the time," which is also like, if you want to be a big goth baby, The Crow is awesome.
The Crow,
Peak goth.
required reading.
Oh yeah.
We're all big goth babies.
It's Trill's favorite movie right now.
Oh hell yeah.
She just saw it.
She actually stayed up till 4 last night watching it.
That's right. She's still fatigued. So it's mid-morning. Mag just made this discovery in the dormitory at the Dawnflower Library. What does Mag do upon discovering that this ruby is missing?
Mag rages in her room to herself
Oh no.
Okay.
with no one to hit.
The only tree nearby is the wood frame of her bed.
If
Yeah.
a barbarian rages in their bedroom, does anyone
Get hurt?
yeah.
Does it take up that minute time slot?
Right. Mag just is really, 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 really mad for 1 minute.
Well, what do you think what would Mag do? Mag becomes furious about this. What does she do?
She'd look all over the room, and she would check her pack for holes. Is it possible that it fell out?
Let me hit you with this. A bag of holding is not like, this is the Philorix mushroom picking bag.
Right.
But it is also a bag of holding. And a bag of holding puts things into another dimension. Like a bag of holding puts things into an extra dimensional space. And somehow this ruby went missing from a place that is not of this world. Like, so I imagine Mag would realize that it's like the idea of something falling out of this bag. This bag is magic and this ruby is gone.
Could the ruby have slipped through dimensions in the bag and returned to the plane of Lange?
That's what it sounds like. Is that this was like a, whatever. This is a dimension on dimension,
Crime.
Created a wormhole thing, the magic of this thing and the magic of the bag of holding have side effects.
What did we remember? We learned a little something about the Leng and the Leng rubies.
Fidget recognized this ruby as a ruby from Lange and then told you basically broad strokes information about Lange, which is that it is a nightmare realm beyond the dimension of dreams. He mentioned that rubies are typically held by creatures known as denizens of Lange. But it seems like that's all that he knew or told you about at that moment.
Huh.
Should we go beat Fidget up? Seems like this is his fault, right?
Yeah, agreed. I was thinking along very similar lines.
It's the only logical explanation.
No! Master!
So, I didn't realize this thing was in the bag of holding.
Yeah, you tucked it into a special section labeled rubies.
Rubies, Lange rubies.
Yeah, there was a whole bag up that said have ruby on it.
Yeah.
I believe.
Yeah. Should have kept that in a regular pouch, sounds like.
However this thing got away from you, it did not get away from you because of any kind of physical
chicanery.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think that this would hit Mag really hard because Mag is she's a threat spotter and a worrier and a planner. And sort of she would feel a lot of self-recrimination and guilt about failing to make this connection that, putting this thing into this extra dimensional thing into an extra dimension would be less prudent than putting it in her pocket. So I think some of this rage is directed inward. I think after a moment of kind of panic and then anger and then guilt and then more anger, I think that she would seek out Fidget, try to find Fidget to learn more about where this thing is. I think last night she was thinking her first order of business in the morning would be hitting up the library for insight about the massive creature down in the arena, and I think this will have completely diverted her priorities and her course, and she would in a froth and a little bit of a shame spiral would go off to try to learn more about what's up with extra dimensions, and wouldn't know where to start other than Fidget. I mean, what type of magic are we talking here? Is this occult stuff? Is this?
Yeah, it's a cult.
It's a cult, but it doesn't relate to Trill's. Somehow, it doesn't relate to Trill's expertise on mind altering mental kind of stuff.
Huh. It's a puzzle. Within an enigma.
So I guess, does Mag know where Fidget is staying?
The last time you saw me was at Crow's Casks, where Trill is staying also.
Yeah.
All right, so Mag would head straight there, ideally to find Fidget, and failing that, to confide in and seek comfort and aid from Trill.
Trill's here for it.
So Mag pushes her way into Crow's Casks, the bar with interesting drinks run by the Tengu alchemist Magaloy. Who does Mag see any of the rest of you in this bar? Is she running into anybody else here?
Trill's already downstairs because as Trill's woken and has felt rejuvenated and like she can recall more spells that she's read about, she went downstairs to seek out Fidget to talk with him about her new spells and her experience from the last night.
So when Mag steps in, she sees Trill and Fidget talking about truly disturbing magic.
Yes, exactly. Trill's like explaining, they're comparing notes on Dirge of Doom. I imagine Fidget has that as well. And Trill's like, I finally figured it out.
The trick is to go to the augmented third after the diminished fifth.
Exactly. They're talking magic and music.
Does that check out?
You tell me. I forgot
really.
so much
Not
about music
check
theory.
Augmented third, I think, is just a fourth. Don't.
Anyway.
That's not a rule.
Anyway, yeah.
Don't
Trill's
correct me.
like, and
Different
then
rules.
I read in one of these books about if I play just this chord and if I angle it just right, I could make someone laugh until they almost pass out.
Music is truly terrifying.
Trophius, Fidget, I have bad news, and I need your help.
What's up, Mac? Did you sleep okay? You look a little angry. Rageful, even.
It comes with the territory.
Well, what happened?
When I woke up and took stock of our possessions, the ruby that we extracted from Doriana after she took ill, the ruby is gone.
What? The Ruby of Lange? You know, L-E-N-G, not L-A-N-G-E.
It might have changed its name recently, but it's honestly hard to tell.
Did we just solve the mystery of what Robin's last name should become?
I'm Robin. My name is now actually Ruby Leng.
Ruby Leng. First name.
Good choice. Yeah.
Totally
Yeah.
just to change it all up. Anyway.
No, it's good. It's good. Yes, that's it. That's the one. The Robin Lang is gone.
Wait.
I placed it in the bag of holding along with everything else. And come the morning when I woke up and took stock of what was there, everything was there. And I know for a fact everything was there because, as I've mentioned before, there's a very specific scheme that I use to keep track of each item. For example, here are the needle and thread. And Mag begins pulling out increasingly intricate sub-compartments of the bag of holding.
All while sitting on her comfortable chair, which was the first thing out.
Right.
Was the bag with the ruby symbol that you put the ruby in still there?
Lars, I have a question.
Yeah, the bag was still there for sure. It's just the ruby's gone.
Yeah, the bag was still there for sure. It's just the ruby's gone.
Huh. How could that have happened? No, nobody would have gone in and taken this thing out of your bag. Fidget, what do you think?
The mysteries of the Leng Ruby are not ours to comprehend, I believe.
Lars's town characters are so unhelpful.
Why don't you go fuck yourself? He says, the realm of Leng is so far beyond the comprehension of even masters of the occult magic such as myself. It is a thing that has traveled far across dimensions to get here. In my mind, the question is, where could the ruby that you thought was in such a neat little custom pocket, where is it now?
Wait, didn't the ruby affect Doriana's dreams? And you said it was near, if I remember, Fidget, you'd said that it was from a plane that was near the plane of dreams.
Yes, Leng.
And it disappeared while Mag was asleep. Mag, what did you dream last night?
Lars, question.
What did you dream last night?
What did I
don't know. Let's work this out together. David, what do you think Mag dreamt about last night?
Okay, we'll do it one word at a time.
Okay.
Mag.
Okay, good. An exquisite corpse. Let's go. I'll go first. Mag
dreamed
about
the
sort
of
thing
she
always
dreams
about.
This isn't helping.
Oh, was it just her house in the woods again?
Yeah, exactly. So what did Mag dream about? Mag dreamed that she was camping in the woods, and then all of her fingers fell off. It was terrifying.
Okay, so let's do a check here. I think that this could be a good time to do some kind of check to figure out how in tune with Mag's own dreams she is.
How about astronomy lore?
Astronomy lore, perfect.
Ayo, get over here!
I think an obvious choice would be occultism. I think that perception is also in there. So let's see if Mag noticed something in her dream last night. I'm going to go with a simple DC here. And the DC that I'm going to say for this perception check as Mag tries to think, did she notice / remember anything in her dreams? This is going to be a master perception check. Ooh. So this is going to be a DC of 30.
Oof.
So
crap.
Mag has a 10 perception modifier.
So gotta roll 20.
Yeah, there's a chance.
Yes. Can Trill help with this? Can Trill aid?
I think so. I think that makes sense. If Trill's able to help Mag connect to this vision that she had in her or what it is that she had in her dreams.
Maybe Trill tries a little bit of psychology.
Sure. I think occultism, I would even say oddity identification would work in this context because we're talking about mental things.
Hey, okay. So Trill wants to support that check then.
Great.
And I don't know if oddity identification added into that when I rolled it.
It didn't automatically, but we can add your plus from oddity identification into it.
So that's a +1, right?
Yeah, +2.
+2. So Trill ended up rolling a 32.
So that's a critical success on this oddity identification as you're trying to help Mag. You're trying to aid Mag in remembering her dreams, which means that she's going to get a +2 to this perception check. So that increases Mag's likelihood to remember something of relevance by 200%.
Not bad.
Okay, so let's roll an 18, 19, 20.
Don't mess up.
Cool. All right, Mag. Here comes Mag rolling perception.
Oh no.
That's a 1.
Okay. So Trill is helping Mag tap into some deep psychological stuff.
And Trill's doing the best that she possibly can.
And it sounds like Mag is straight up not able to. I don't know. What do you think this is?
What I think this is that Mag is so upset and angry. Like she woke up enraged immediately. You know, she's in no shape to. You know, it's hard to think. It's hard to remember dreams the best of times. It's hard to think when you're mad. It's all gone. Like anything that she might have recalled from last night is just completely obliterated by the shock and upset of the morning and frankly her underdeveloped coping skills.
I picture one of those old cartoons where when like a big brute character tries to think too hard and like you hear engine sounds and steam coming out of their ears and like then you hit the brakes.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Like, would Mag get upset about how hard this is for her?
I mean, she might, yes, right. I think she might additionally get frustrated. You know, the idea that now she might be able to fix it by recalling her dreams, which so often are so vivid for her, and she would love to forget them and she can't. And instead, the one time she needs to remember a dream, she's got absolutely nothing. Of course.
Mag, it's okay. Calm down.
Believe it or not, this is relatively calm for me.
So I think what Trill is able to learn from this experience, I don't know if Mag is clear-headed enough, is that if there is something that was hiding in Mag's dreams last night, it did a very good job hiding from her.
You can usually remember your dreams really well. This is odd.
I suppose that's true. More often than not, I wake up painfully aware of what I dreamed, recalling all manner of detail and emotion so vividly. So if this thing has some effect on dreams, perhaps one of its effects serves to conceal its own presence.
Are you feeling sleepy at all? Could you, fall asleep right here like Doriana was doing?
I don't know. At the moment, I feel kind of wired.
Would any of you like to hear about my dreams that I had last night?
No.
And at that moment, Vadim comes down the stairs from the rooms at Crow's Casks and says, "Oh, let's not talk about dreams." And you see there are big dark circles under his eyes. And he says, "What's going on? It's unusual to see you here this early, Meg."
I awoke early and discovered in the course of my regular morning routine that the ruby that had such an effect on Doriana Menhem, it's disappeared in the night from out of the bag, the mushroom bag, which appears to bear no mark of damage of any kind.
And on hearing that, Vadim raises an eyebrow and starts rubbing at his jaw and says, "Well, that can't be a good sign of anything. Magaloy, can I get a coffee, please?"
Yes, I've got a brand new brew I'm looking to try out on folks. Lightning coffee.
Oh, that sounds like
sounds
heaven
great.
itself. Yes, I need it.
Normally, I don't go in for that kind of thing, but yes, let's make it a triple.
All right. She walks over to this strange extraction machine and drops a couple of vials of Lord knows what into these 3 tiny glasses of espresso and says, "Bottoms up. Drink it quickly, though. No, I bear no responsibility over what happens to you if you do not drink it extremely quickly.
We signed the waiver months ago.
Don't forget it."
Mag drinks.
Trill takes it and throws it back like a good espresso drinker.
Prost! And Vadim tosses it back as well.
Does anybody do the thing that Angelo Badalamenti does in Mulholland Drive where he sips it slowly and then disgustedly spits it out into a napkin and casts hateful glances at the person responsible for forcing him to drink this horrible thing?
Well, now I wish I had.
Maybe that's Fidget's take? I don't know.
Yeah.
Fidget's like, I know better than to drink such a thing.
Oh no. What's happened? What's happened to us?
Make a fortitude save.
Seriously?
No. Zoe, what do you think AO is up as this 45 minutes of activity happens between... So what happens with AO between 10 and 10:45, do you think?
I think she wakes up and strolls on over to Nothing Bunt Kobold. She wants to get some more dragon cakes, which were so helpful before, and just check in on the biz, see how everyone's doing.
Like any good manager.
It's more of an MLM, so just kind of the base of the pyramid.
So they've got oysters.
Interesting. So those 2 kobolds whose names I can never remember,
Kutsin and DMs Cork?
Yes, because
Our
are
best
going
friends
to
in the
end up
whole world?
franchising out. They're going to get some more kobolds in the neighboring town to open up a new one and tithe off of them.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. As Ao approaches, she hears a whisper coming from out of the bombed-out wreckage of the Thirsty Alpaca. She hears a whisper. What's the password? Quickly, what's the password?
Nyang nyang bonobo!
And you hear a little bit of back and forth, and they say, okay, you can come in.
She still hasn't bothered to learn that they don't speak Undercommon, so.
So disrespectful.
Yeah. Kutsin says, it's good to see you, boss. We decided together that the password should be either any phrase in Undercommon or a very specific Draconic phrase that should you ever decide to learn the language, you would then know how to say correctly. So we're both holding out hope that you figure that one out.
Just hit me up with it quick. I mean, I've got Draconic. I'm good with Draconic. She says, lying.
They say, oh, of course. Here's the password. And they let you know that the password is, it's a word that sounds a lot like the word microphone in English. It's,
Sure,
they
these
say,
things happen.
microphone.
Are we still in Are we back in Twin Peaks? Are we in the red tent?
That's right. Draconic
Or the black,
is back
the black
masked.
tent.
We're in the Black Lodge.
Black Lodge.
Microphone.
And Ao nods, taking it in. How've sales been? Have the town's been in here since we got the trill cakes out, right?
And DMs Cork steps up and says, the idea for Trill Cakes turned out to be a stupendous success in terms of branding. We are looking at expanding, which is a difficult thing to accomplish when, of course, your business is largely secret due to various political circumstances regarding our founding, but we're looking into it. We're in the research stage at this point.
Sure. Yeah, we need like a cart or a food truck or some way to distribute these. Those Menhemes children seem bored. Maybe we can talk to them.
We will, of course, take your word for it. If you think that we should reach out to the Menhemes children, we're happy.
No, I'll do it. You guys, I don't want to put you on the spot. I feel like we've gotten in with the mayor, and I think Doriana needs something to cheer her up. She seemed kind of under the weather the last time I saw her, and I think a little slice of nothing but kobold with a healthy dose of trill cake could be just what she needs.
Oh, sure, of course. The dragon's blood pudding will put a pep in your step if you're feeling run down. Absolutely.
I know. We used it. Do you remember the big tall lady who hit stuff? She and I, we almost got turned into statues, see, because there were these basilisks and, you're down deep in the dungeon and there's this big flesh-eating monster and then Ao sort of drones on in a,
yeah, they start drifting off to sleep and leaning against each other, resting their dragon-like heads on each other as they sort of sway back and forth.
Anyways, thanks, guys. And she throws she grabs 2 dragon's blood puddings and heads out the door.
Happy to be of service. Thank you again for your patronage.
And management.
Yes, thank you. Good. Very good.
For your patronage and management.
So do you think that Ao's heading, what's next for you guys?
I think she bumps into the others. Either she hears them at Crow's Cask wandering through town or they're out and about.
Yeah, like maybe Ao hears this jolt of lightning coming from these lightning coffees, and that draws her attention into Crow's Casks. So when you guys meet up, what do you do? What's happening? Where are you guys going?
Wait, so it was just taken? I feel like Ao's still catching up on this.
Right, sure.
Just gone. It's just gone. I mean, you have a system, right? You say you always you're acting like you index stuff and you got it all sorted.
I can't believe that your takeaway from this is that I might not have a system.
Well,
The system
Was
is
it
the
in the
only
bag?
thing.
Was it in the ruby bag? Did you have it in the ruby bag, or was it just floating around in the gemstone
Sorry.
compartment?
The only reason we know it's missing is the system. Without the system, we would have to empty out the entire.
Fidget's like, I've actually heard. We've been through this a number of times. I'm gonna go. When you've resolved this, just let me know, and I'll come back for whenever that is.
What? Can I take a look around? Can a person get in a bag of holding?
Yeah, a person can get in a bag of holding, and it has enough air for 10 minutes, I think is how it works.
That's what I remember.
I mean, we should at least look and see if, like, maybe it fell out of the bag, or, like, did the seam come undone?
Is there a hole to another dimension?
Are we certain this is safe if things are disappearing
not
Are
from
safe.
here?
we certain this is safe? It's fine.
Question, Lars.
Yeah,
If Trill wanted to do some research on dimensions
sure.
and how different dimensions interact,
Yes.
would she go to Rin's, to the bookstore, or to the library?
I'd say any of the above. Probably more the bookstore than the library, but Rin's could potentially be a good place.
Okay, so Trill, in hearing all of this, just throws up her little hands and says,
I'm gonna go to Odd Stories. I need to understand more about alternate dimensions and parallel dimensions, and this is just, I don't know enough.
as Trill storms out, even her frustration.
This is what I want to. Any source of further understanding about this. And Mag follows after Trill.
I guess we're going through Odd Stories then, Vadim says, and he kind of scratches the back of his head and looks at Ao and is like, are you going to come too?
Yeah, I can get in the bag there, too. I can get in the bag anywhere.
Solid point. All right.
So Trill leads the way, it sounds like, to Odd Stories, and she heads to the door, and it's late enough in the morning, it sounds like, that it should be open.
Yeah, it's around 11 o'clock in the morning.
She opens the door, and there's that lovely little bell at the door.
Ching ching. As you step in to the door,
Who's she see?
you see a typical toil day sight. Karlth is refiling a book or two in the back, and Morlabent is sitting behind the counter, drumming a tense pattern on the wood. And as you walk in, Morlabent looks up and says, it's very good to see you. The saviors of our town have returned once again to my humble establishment to potentially do business. I'm very excited to learn what it is that we can do to make a mutually beneficial future thing with each other.
And Trill essentially cuts Morlabent off as he trips over his words, kind of almost shaking from all the caffeine or whatever it is in the lightning, that lightning shot.
He says, Morlabent, what do you have on dimensions? And how they interact with each other? Because something weird has happened.
You're probably looking for the section of the story labeled the dimensions, interacting with each other.
Yes, that's the one. Mag has become increasingly keyed up on the lightning coffee. She's like wild-eyed, and she's also experiencing an unusual kind of euphoria that's making her feel like anything is possible and everything is a good idea.
What's Ao doing? Has Ao just dived into the bag at this point?
That's right. Ao is waiting till the first moment Mag steps away and is going to loosen the drawstring and get in the bag.
All right. So Mag is like overcome by enthusiasm for, let's face it, folks, everything at this point. And so she says, yes, that's it. Dimensions, you said, right? Interactions of. That's exactly the one. And in her enthusiasm, she puts everything down and heads off very decisively toward a section of the bookstore, even though she has not yet been told which section of the bookstore she should be going to.
So Morlabent leads Trill and Mag away from the bag of holding as Ao. What does Ao do?
Ao reaches in with a claw, opens the bag enough that, her head can kind of peer in, looks in, I assume sees sort of nothingness and darkness, and then jumps in.
I'm picturing Scrooge McDuck jumping into the pile of like coins. Yeah.
Oh, dear.
I'm guessing that what Ao sees in there is immaculately well arranged. Like Ao can see plain as day, once she's inside this thing, how serious Mag is about keeping all of these things straight. Like, however angry Mag seems on the outside, you see, David, I'm imagining this is like a self-soothing thing for Mag, that you see a level of commitment to order and to
the bit
and to organization that would reveal that this is something that she takes very, very seriously.
And I imagine Ao deeply appreciates that for the gift that it is, even if it seems totally inscrutable from the outside at times.
She does.
All right.
Can I get either a survival check as you do tracking within the bag of holding, or a perception check, Zoe?
Yeah. You can.
As you try to see what has been tampered with within this space, or if Mag overlooked something.
Not great. That's a 14.
So Ao, looking around this bag of holding and seeing this extra dimensional space that has been so fastidiously organized to be as reliable and as quickly accessible as possible, sees no indication of any physical tampering inside the bag at all.
Did you see any teeth?
I forget. Are there any teeth in there?
Secretly wrapped in a bow with the name Ao on it.
Right. Presents for Christmas. What year is it again?
It's the year
4721.
Yes.
Right. Christmas 4721.
Mag has
Ao.
come across a couple of teeth just in her own, solo time around town, has meticulously set them aside as future gifts for Ao. And in the meantime, before any sort of occasion rolls around that would allow Mag to gift them, Ao has found those exact same teeth and just gone ahead and gotten them for herself.
I can't make this stuff up.
That sounds, this is too fanciful to ever be related to anything that would ever happen to anybody in real life. So let's get away from this horribly ungrounded, ridiculous flight of fancy and instead talk about Trill looking at the extra dimensional travel section of this bookstore.
Right. Talk about high fantasy.
Robin, I'm just going to ask you
David
to make an occultism check as you try to do a little bit of research here to try to get some additional information from the books on tap here.
And Mag, in her froth, is going to aid this occultism check.
Yeah. With what skill?
Occultism.
Oh, okay.
Oh, what else could she aid with? I mean,
You
she'll
tell
aid
me,
with
man.
whatever, but
You tell me how Mag is aiding.
Mag is aiding with just like sheer focus, grit.
What skill is sheer focus and grit? Let me take a look at this list.
Survival?
Survival?
Crafting?
You tell me, man.
Mag just starts making a whole new bookshelf. Crafting.
Performance. Mag is like chanting Trill's name.
Okay. Give me a
Trill,
performance
bus,
check to
Trill,
aid.
bus, Trill, bus. That's a 9.
All right, so that's a critical failure, which is going to give Trill a -1 on this check. Let's get Trill's occultism check, as Trill is irritated beyond belief at Mag's performance.
I mean, Trill kind of deserves that after what she did to Mag
And
that
what did
other
Trill
time.
roll?
And Trill's super distracted by Mag, and Trill rolls a 1 on the die.
All right. Good stuff,
Magaloy.
guys. So the four of you go into this bookstore. One of you jumps into this enormous mushroom picking bag, and the rest of you, I think you get kicked out for this. I think Morlabin is like, now, frankly, I'm sorry. This is just not the kind of business that we're running here. As Trill is like,
No, but we've got such a cool idea. This is the type of thing that you would love.
No, okay, but please keep your voice down. And Carl,
Not enough tentacle porn. Ale yells from the bag.
Come help! He's kicking me out!
Vadim is looking just so embarrassed right now.
Yeah, and Vadim is probably joined outside the store by the rest of everybody else about 10 minutes later at around 11:20 as you find yourselves once more on the streets of Otari, having found no information and odd stories. What do you do next?
So I think Mag feels like a little paw kind of coming up through the bag. I assume getting kicked out, she just like hauled it off and maybe didn't notice that Ao was inside it.
Yeah.
And Ao's maybe running out of air at this point. I think your 10 minutes of air is potentially running out shortly.
Sure. So like one little finger emerges and taps Mag on the shoulder.
What?
Oh my god, it's something from another dimension!
What? And Mag drops the bag.
Ao jumps out. Boo. You know, Mag, I have to say, it really is, it's pretty neat in there. I took a look around. I think you probably aren't at fault. And I'm thinking, and then she slings an arm around Mag's shoulder, we should go talk to Doriana, right? If anyone's going to know what's up with that ruby, I mean, is she still connected to it now that it's gone? Is she still feeling bad? Does she want to sell baked goods to try and lift her spirits? I mean, let's just see, like, what's up with her, right?
Wait, what was that last one?
You went inside it?
Yeah, I was pretty clear I was going to. I mean, I know I'm hyperbolic, but...
Without telling anyone? You could have been hurt, killed, or apparently you could have just vanished.
But I didn't. Ha!
Ao, we can't behave so recklessly. This is too important. The fate of this town and the fate of the city of Absalom is in our hands. We can't be taking these kinds of risks. By Sarenrae's light, we have to work together.
Cheryl's feeling real awkward in this after she was just like losing her mind in the bookstore.
Yeah, we're working together. Like, we each find leads and we explore them and then we report back, right?
That's kind of working independently, Ao.
I agree.
Wait, do you agree with that we should work together, or you agree that is what she described as working independently and then...
I agree with myself that we should work together, and with Trilphus that what Ao has described is working independently.
Okay, cool. That's very clarifying. I appreciate that. I think we should probably work together, but I'm easy.
Oh, I can't believe we even have to debate this. And Mag punches
Wooden post?
A bystander.
No. Mag punches there's a bulletin board up by the side of the road.
Absolutely.
With little flyers that are like
Oh,
hey,
Mag, that was about the daycare!
they'll figure it out.
With that, Ao transforms into Norman and she's like, here, let Dr. Norman work together with you and get you all patched up. And she starts gauzing the hand that's, bleeding at the knuckles.
I'm imagining that the post has now snapped in half.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, this thing is on the floor.
Nice form, Mag. That was a really solid punch. I mean, you got your hips into it. I'm not helping, am I?
Okay, we need to... This arguing isn't helping anything. So we tried the bookstore and we couldn't find anything. So maybe Norman's idea is worth exploring of going to Menhemes? And asking
see what
Doriana what her
Doriana's
dreams
doing.
have been like?
Yes. We go together.
So the three of you walk along the road leading around the cliff that protects the eastern edge of town until you get to Menhemes Manor. And you are greeted by Osif himself, who opens the door. Well, glad, I suppose, to see all of you here, although it is a sort of conflicted moment for me and for my family after exactly what it is that happened yesterday and the way that you turned what was to be a great celebration of monuments into a mockery of the great artwork that my family paid for.
Oh, that was just Ao, and Ao's not here right now.
Looking over at
No,
Norman.
siree. How are you doing today, Mr. Mayor? And Norman reaches in with a hand.
Norman, it's good to see you. You're my favorite one. I want you to know that.
And Mag whispers under her breath, "Oh, that was just yesterday, wasn't it?"
But no, I am glad that you're here. Any resentments that I feel from that time are pale in the face of the concern that I have about my dear Doriana.
How is she today, Mr. Mayor? How's she doing?
It's bad. She had another nightmare last night. I thought that you finding that gemstone, whatever that thing was, might have gotten her back on track, but she just seems as sick as before.
Could we talk to her?
Yes, of course. We kept her home from the schoolhouse today. She's upstairs in her room. I'll show you the way if you'd like to speak with her.
Yes, please.
He leads you through the parlor that makes up the majority of the first floor of Menhemez Manor, up a winding staircase leading around the wall of the parlor, up to the second floor where there is a landing from which several bedrooms connect. And stepping into Doriana's bedroom, you see that it's a sprawling bedroom, a much larger room for a kid than I imagine any of you have ever seen. She has a dark cherrywood sleigh bed with faded fuchsia wallpaper around the room. She is sitting in the corner of the room on the floor playing with a dollhouse. And you see that her bed is all out of order. The sheets have been thrown off. The blanket has been thrown onto the dark stained wood floor. And a number of smaller throw pillows have been cast aside as well. She turns around and looks at you and looks very, very tired and afraid. And as you step into the room, she shrinks away from you slightly and says, "Hi."
Well,
She's been like this all morning. Please be gentle with her.
hello there. You look awfully tired, Norman says with his eyes kind of glistening.
I haven't been sleeping so well. And you see that her hair looks dirty and her skin looks pale.
Had another nightmare, huh?
Yeah, I guess so.
What was it this time? What keeps you up?
I can't remember much.
Was it the Motley Man again?
No, the Motley Man is he makes them go away. He makes the nightmares go away.
I noticed you're playing with a dollhouse. But didn't we talk about you're a little old for this? What's so interesting about the dollhouse today?
Trill, Jesus, we're trying to butter her up, Norman whispers under his breath.
Yeah, and she looks at you scornfully and she says, "I just like it."
What do you like about it?
And the mayor's like, "We did spend quite a bit of money on that dollhouse. It is one of the finest dollhouses."
We know how he feels about tiny things.
One of the greatest conceptual artists in all of Absalom put that dollhouse together.
It's a silhouette dollhouse.
Right, the dollhouse is just a post-it with the word dollhouse written on it.
Yeah.
Mag sees where Trill is going with this. That this girl has become re-enamored of a children's toy once, and it turned out to have one of these like Leng ruby stones in it that was causing her this problem. And so she wants to take a look at the dollhouse and see whether there's any way that it can open up, come apart. She'll start by doing this subtly while others are speaking, but if possible, she wants to like kneel down, and she gets out her crafter's eyepiece, maybe subtly if she can put it in, and she wants to take a look at it and see if there's anywhere that there could be a jewel embedded in it or hidden in it somehow.
Is anyone giving Mag cover as she tries to do this?
Yeah, I think Norman's chatting away with Doriana. So you put the little bed, and then you get the little blanket on there, and do you tuck someone in? Is there someone to tuck in there?
Oh, I see how that works, Mag says sort of clumsily, but kneels down in order to try and get a better look inside.
Oh, look at that. You have tiny crooks, snooks to put on your table. Isn't that adorable?
And as this conversation with Norman and Doriana continues, Mag is sort of, like, I'm imagining Mag has big hands, so these dollhouse parts are small in her, like between her fingers, right? It's like maybe a little bit difficult for you to really get a grasp of each individual thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You find small dolls that live in the house. You're tossing like a small wooden mirror set. This ruby that you found was 4 or 5 inches long and like an inch or 2 thick. This was a large item.
Yeah.
And so Mag is looking for something that this could be contained in. And she opens up the roof opens up and you can see an attic space inside the dollhouse. There's a bathtub, but it's all just too small to contain this ruby. Until eventually Mag sees that the bed in one of these bedrooms of the dollhouse looks as though it could just barely be large enough to house the sort of object that was, she thought, in the bag of holding.
Oh, I see. So Jonathan and Nancy were dating, but now they live in separate bedrooms. And then Patrick so Norman's just coming up with all the stories. So he sees that Mag's starting to get somewhere.
And she's like, Dad, please. And the mayor's like, Doriana, please. He knows what he's talking about. And what does Mag do?
Yeah, closer look at, grabs or tries to get her hands on, sees whether the ruby could fit inside, I guess, the bed.
It's a few small, cheap brass tubes connected to each other that make up the frame of the bed, and then there's like a thin wooden box that is the bed and the mattress. And Mag gets the sense that if she were to try to, she could break that thing open.
Should Trill detect magic on that first before Mag tears apart something?
If you wanted to detect magic, you can cast detect magic.
Yeah. So while this is all happening, Trill cast detect magic to try and narrow in on where this is in the bedroom, if it is somewhere in there.
So Trill casts the spell, and the loud sort of exclamation of verbal components reverberates around the room, ending this conversation. And Trill sees this small doll's bed that Mag is holding glowing bright white as though there's a massive magical aura around it. And the room falls silent.
Trill points to the bed in Mag's hands.
Mag, you found it!
Norman, meanwhile, panics. Did anyone ever tell you you're beautiful? He says, putting a hand on Doriana's face, sort of like not like forcefully, but like sort of hoping that it like keeps her from looking over at the bed.
And the mayor is maybe even more distracting. He's like shoving past Norman, and Doriana is eyes locked on him as the mayor shoves past and says, well, what is it? What have you found? And he turns back to Trill and he says, what is it? What's happening? What's going on?
And as he does so, Mag cracks open the bed.
And the next thing that you hear is a thud as this large red ruby falls onto the cherry floor. And everybody in the room turns, sees the ruby there one more time. And we will pick up from there next time.
Multi-dimension timey-wimey!
The Roots of Ruin is a Tabletop Gold production, produced under the Paizo Incorporated Community Use Policy. The Roots of Ruin uses trademarks and or copyrights owned by Paizo Inc., used under Paizo's community use policy. We are expressly prohibited from charging you to use or access this content. Paizo does not recognize, endorse, or sponsor this project in any way. Original characters and content are the property of Tabletop Gold. For more information about Paizo Inc. and Paizo products, visit paizo.com. We at Tabletop Gold would love to hear from you. Email us at letters@tabletopgold.com and find all our social links at tabletopgold.com.